Picture this. You're at a summer barbecue. The sun's out, the grill's hot, and then you hear it. That annoying buzz near your ear. A fly lands on your burger. A mosquito bites your arm. Ants are marching toward the potato salad. And you think to yourself, God, I wish all these bugs would just disappear. Careful what you wish for, because if every insect on Earth vanished tomorrow, you wouldn't be celebrating for long. In fact, you'd be dead within a few months, along with most other complex life on the planet. Yeah, turns out those annoying little creatures you've been swatting away are basically holding the entire ecosystem together with their tiny, disgusting legs. Today, we're going to explore what would happen if insects just stopped existing. All 10 quintillion of them, gone. And I'm going to show you why this scenario is genuinely more terrifying than asteroid impacts, supervolcano eruptions, or pretty much any other apocalypse we've covered. Because at least those kill you quickly. Let's start with some uncomfortable facts. There are roughly 10 quintillion individual insects alive on Earth right now. That's a 10 with 18 zeros after it. For every single human being, there are about 1.4 billion insects. They outweigh all of humanity combined by a factor of 17. There are more ants alone than there are humans, birds, and mammals combined. They're everywhere. In the soil beneath your feet, in the trees above your head, in the walls of your house, probably on you right now if we're being honest. And every single one of them is doing something important, even the ones you hate, especially the ones you hate. So what happens when they all disappear? Let's find out. And trust me, it gets weird fast. Day 1. You wake up to a world without insects. At first you don't even notice. The morning seems quieter maybe. No buzzing outside your window, no fruit flies hovering over the banana on your counter. You go about your day, make coffee, check your phone. Everything seems fine. You go outside. The air feels still, unnaturally still. No bees buzzing around the flowers in your garden, no butterflies, no dragonflies zipping past. It's peaceful, in a creepy sort of way, like when the music stops right before something bad happens in a horror movie. By the afternoon, people start noticing. Social media explodes with posts. Anyone else notice there are no bugs today? Where did all the insects go? Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Scientists scramble to figure out what's happening. Entomologists, ecologists, everyone in environmental science is on high alert. Because they know exactly how bad this is going to get. But most people, they're just relieved. No more mosquitoes. No more flies. No more roaches. It's like a dream come true, right? Give it a week. You'll change your mind. Week 1. Things start getting noticeably weird. Flowers aren't being pollinated. Bees, butterflies, moths, beetles, they're all gone. And with them goes about 75% of all flowering plant reproduction. Crops that depend on insect pollination, apples, almonds, blueberries, cucumbers, they're all failing to produce fruit. Farmers are panicking. Agricultural scientists are scrambling to find solutions. Hand pollination? Sure, in theory. But do you have any idea how many flowers need to be pollinated? Billions, trillions. There aren't enough humans on Earth to do it manually. Not even close. Grocery stores start to notice supply shortages. The produce section looks emptier than usual. Prices start going up. People start hoarding. It's like the toilet paper panic of 2020, except this time it's actual food, and it's not going to get better. But that's just the crops. Let's talk about what's happening in the wild. Birds are starving. Most bird species eat insects. Sparrows, swallows, warblers, woodpeckers, they all depend on bugs for protein, and now there are no bugs, so the birds start dying. Not all at once, but steadily. You start seeing dead birds on sidewalks, in parks. They're starving to death in a world that suddenly has no food for them, and it's not just birds. Bats, frogs, lizards, small mammals, fish, anything that eats insects is now on a countdown to starvation. The entire base of the food chain is gone. Week 2. The smell hits you. Dead animals aren't decomposing properly. See, insects, specifically beetles, flies, and maggots, are nature's cleanup crew. They break down dead organic matter. Without them, corpses just sit there, rotting, slowly, inefficiently. Bacteria are trying their best, but they're not fast enough. Dead birds, dead rodents, dead anything, they're just piling up. The smell is unbearable in some areas. Cities start organizing cleanup crews, but they can't keep up. For every body they remove, 10 more appear. And it's not just animal corpses. Plant matter isn't decomposing right either. Fallen leaves, dead trees, grass clippings, they're all just sitting there. Nutrients aren't being recycled back into the soil. The natural cycle of death and rebirth that's been running for hundreds of millions of years has stopped. Month 1. The ecosystem is collapsing, fast. Fish populations crash. Most fish eat insects at some point in their life cycle. Insects fall into rivers and lakes. Fish eat them. Or fish eat smaller fish that eat insects. Now that food source is gone. Fish die. Bigger fish that eat those fish also die. Commercial fishing collapses. Freshwater ecosystems are particularly devastated. Dragonfly nymphs, mayflies, caddisflies, they're all gone. These insects spend their larval stages underwater, and they're a crucial food source for pretty much everything else in the river. Without them, the entire aquatic food web unravels. Amphibians are next. Frogs, toads, salamanders, they're all dying off. Some from starvation, some from the collapse of their prey base. Tadpoles can't find enough food. Adult frogs have nothing to eat. Within a month, amphibian populations drop by 70%. And here's where it gets really bad for humans. Your food supply is imploding. The crops that survived the lack of pollination are now failing for a different reason. Pests. Yeah, remember all those crop pests? Aphids, locusts, beetles. They're gone too. But so are the insects that ate them. Ladybugs, lacewings, parasitic wasps. They kept pest populations in check. Now there's nothing keeping anything in check except... Wait, the pests are gone too. Okay, so no pests. That sounds good, right? Except now your crops are being eaten by other things. Rodents, birds, fungi. And there's nothing stopping them because the ecological balance is completely destroyed. Farms are failing across the globe. Not just the pollinator-dependent crops, but everything. Soil quality is degrading rapidly without insects to aerate it and break down organic matter. Farmers try to compensate with fertilizers, but it's not enough. The soil is dying. All right, real talk for a second. If you're sitting there thinking, wow, I had no idea insects were this important, then you need to subscribe to this channel because we break down exactly how interconnected these systems are. Drop a comment too. What insect do you hate the most? Because I guarantee you that insect is doing something critical that you don't even know about. Let's discuss. Month 3. Global famine begins. Food shortages turn into actual starvation. Governments implement strict rationing. Borders close. Countries hoard whatever food they have left. International trade collapses because there's nothing to trade. Everyone is in the same desperate situation. Meat becomes incredibly scarce and expensive. Livestock are being slaughtered en masse because there's no feed for them. The grain that would normally feed cattle, chickens, and pigs is being diverted to humans, but it's not enough. There's simply not enough food. People start dying. The very young, the very old, the sick, they go first, then everyone else. Starvation doesn't happen quickly. It's a slow, agonizing process that takes weeks. Society starts to break down as people become desperate. Riots break out. Governments declare martial law. Supply chains completely collapse. Cities become war zones as people fight over the last remaining food supplies. And here's the kicker. Even if you had food stockpiled, even if you were prepared, you're still in trouble. Because the world around you is dying. The air quality is degrading. Without insects breaking down organic matter, the carbon cycle is disrupted. Dead plant matter is piling up, not decomposing, not releasing nutrients back into the soil. Forests start dying. Trees depend on insects for pollination, pest control, and nutrient cycling. Without insects, forests can't regenerate. Existing trees start to weaken and die. Forest fires become more frequent and more severe because all that dead, dried plant matter is just sitting there waiting to burn. Month 6, you're living in a fundamentally different world now, and it's not recognizable. The sky looks different. Fewer birds means fewer bird songs, fewer bird droppings, fewer everything. The world is quieter, eerily quiet. The constant background hum of insect life that you never even noticed before is gone, and its absence is deafening. Plant diversity collapses. Without pollinators, flowering plants can't reproduce. Many species go extinct within a single generation. Entire ecosystems built around specific plant-pollinator relationships just vanish. The Amazon rainforest, which depends heavily on insect pollination and decomposition, starts to die. The lungs of the earth are failing. Oxygen production drops. Carbon dioxide levels rise. The climate starts shifting in unpredictable ways. And humans, we're not doing well. Global population has dropped by maybe 30% at this point. Starvation, disease, violence, it's all taking a toll. Modern civilization has effectively ended. We've regressed to pre-industrial survival mode, except the environment can't support even that anymore. Year 1, the world is unrecognizable. Most vertebrate species are extinct or nearly extinct. Birds, fish, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, they're all gone or dying. The few species that survive are generalists that can eat just about anything. Rats, crows, maybe some resilient fish species. But even they're struggling. The human population has been reduced to maybe 10% of what it was. Small, isolated communities survive by carefully managing whatever resources they have left. But they're not thriving. They're just existing, waiting for something to change. But nothing changes. The soil is essentially dead. Without insects to break down organic matter and recycle nutrients, the soil has become sterile. Crops can't grow even if you wanted to plant them. The earth has become a giant compost heap that nobody's turning. Oceans are faring slightly better, but not much. Marine ecosystems don't depend on insects as heavily. But the collapse of coastal and freshwater ecosystems has ripple effects. Nutrient runoff from land has changed. Fish migrations are disrupted. Coral reefs, already stressed from climate change, start dying en masse without the complex ecological interactions that kept them healthy. Let's talk about what survives this apocalypse. Bacteria, definitely. Fungi, probably. Some plants that don't need insect pollination like grasses and conifers, they might make it. But complex ecosystems, gone. Biodiversity, destroyed. The web of life that took hundreds of millions of years to evolve has been shredded in less than a year. And here's the really depressing part. There's no coming back from this. Even if insects somehow reappeared, the damage is done. Too many species are extinct. Too many ecosystems have collapsed. The Earth would take millions of years to recover if it ever does. You might be wondering, could humans adapt? Could we engineer our way out of this? Build massive greenhouses with artificial pollination? Synthesize food in labs? Create artificial decomposers? Maybe. In theory. But the scale of the problem is so vast, and the collapse happens so quickly that we'd never have time to implement any of these solutions. By the time we realized how bad things were, it would already be too late. And even if we could create closed-loop systems for food production, what kind of life is that? Living in hermetically sealed facilities, eating synthetic food, never going outside because the outside world is a toxic, dead wasteland? That's not survival. That's just existing in a prison of our own making. So let's talk about reality for a second. This scenario, thankfully, is not going to happen. Insects aren't going to disappear overnight. But here's the scary part. They are disappearing. Slowly. Insect populations have declined by 75% in some areas over the last 50 years. It's called the insect apocalypse, and it's happening right now. Climate change, habitat loss, pesticides, light pollution, they're all contributing to a steady decline in insect populations worldwide. And if this trend continues, we might not face an overnight collapse, but we could face a slow, grinding degradation of ecosystems that leads to the same end result. We're not there yet. We can still fix this, but it requires acknowledging that insects, as annoying as they are absolutely critical to life on Earth. Every bee you save, every butterfly garden you plant, every reduction in pesticide use, it all matters. Because the alternative is a world without insects. And as we've just seen, that world is hell. A slow, creeping, suffocating hell where everything slowly starves and rots and dies. So next time you see a bug, maybe don't kill it. Maybe just let it do its thing. Because that annoying little creature is part of a system so complex and so vital that without it we're all doomed. Think about that next time a mosquito bites you. Yeah. It sucks, but at least it means the world is still working, still alive, still functioning, for now. But that's a story for another what if.